Hey, it's your boy Ace, and this is Cross Culture. Now, I've been doing a little podcast. It's the second episode. My boy TPC Japan, my cousin, grew up with him. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit about himself.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Ohio brozaimasu to this part of the world. It's your boy Tipsy Japan, back with another podcast with my cousin Ace. Yes, was it officially? It's just Ace.
Yeah, just Ace. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can call me Tipsy Japan. You can call it TPC Japan. That's the spelling of it. Yeah. So we're back with another podcast. It's been a while. Since we were able to collaborate. It's the first time collaborating on this channel like this. So hit that subscribe button. Take out a pen, a pad, some paper to write it down. Because we're about to get into some issues.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, we are actually talking about a book called A Beautiful Struggle by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And this book is serious. Um, Tipsy Japan, he's the one who recommended that we read it. It's talking about kind of the black struggle in America. It's taking place in Maryland, and some of the stuff that they're going into, it hits close to home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely have to chime in there. It's we call it the struggle, but being Black African American, growing up in America, you're going to experience some part of this. It may not be the same exact experience, but yeah, you will know something about the struggle, especially if you reach, your early 20s or late teens. You start to realize where you fit in the great American quilt, and yeah, it's important to really explore some of those things and talk about some of those things that you may have experienced, you may be experiencing right now. And this podcast, the purpose of it is to kind of help you to process it, see your way through it, and just to celebrate what it means to go through that.
Yeah, and black doesn't have to mean ugly or ignorant, or it's just our skin tone. Going through what we go through, that's what shapes you. And so I'm gonna jump right into one of the main themes in chapter 2 of A Beautiful Struggle, and I feel like it was education throughout. So we got a few educational questions in here. Maybe not
Mm.
anything to quiz you, but something to kind of stir the pot a little bit. I have the
Okay.
first
All right.
question here on screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first question has been posed. When did you first realize college was possible? It's an interesting question. This is it could be the answer could be during college. Um, but do you mean possible, like possible to go to college
All
or
right.
possible to succeed in college?
So, ooh, that's I guess those are two different questions, right?
Mm,
Um, I'm gonna answer the question. Maybe I can set the tone from there.
okay.
Um, when when I think it was like seventh or eighth grade, I had this great dream of going to MIT. Oh, I'm gonna get into MIT and I'm gonna get a scholarship and I'm gonna just go to MIT, right?
Mm,
So I knew for a fact that I needed a scholarship. Seventh grader. My parents don't make enough money to send me to college, so I have to make my own way there somehow.
mm,
And little by little, that dream kind of faded out. I realized how hard it is to get into MIT, and that I didn't really want to be an engineer or go into computer engineering. So I was like,
mm,
what am I gonna do? This is like high school now. I'm like, I've already done the SATs, and now I'm
Mhm.
thinking like, man, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna just go to work. And it wasn't until I think like August 31st. It was like the deadline to send in college paperwork, and I went to a
Mhm.
small Adventist college by the name of Atlantic Union College. It's no longer really there. The building's still standing, but
Mhm.
it's no longer a school. And it wasn't until that point that I thought that college was possible, because I thought, no, I have no money, who's going to take me up to college? How am I going to actually get there?
Mhm.
All the logistics of it were kind of just, but
Wow.
once I finally
Wow.
sent in that paperwork and, I got the replies and everything like that, they're calling me, hey, first student, freshman student orientation was this week, but you can still come. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to college.
Wow. Wow. So you mean, and posing the question, you're talking more of when did you realize college was a possibility for you?
For you. Yes.
Ah, ha, 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 ha. Okay. No, and you know what? We might have realized, I'm a few years older than Ace over here, but we might have realized that college is a possibility around the same time. Because I was already in high school, and I was a mess. I was a hot mess. Like, yeah, there. So I had a different experience, early education experience, private schools, parochial schools. Um, Private schools in the States means Christian school in 95% of the cases.
Hmm.
And I went to Catholic elementary school, and then a private middle school, and first year of high school I was also private out in West Simsbury, up there on the hills, in the hills of Connecticut. All right.
Oh
People
yeah.
do wear Prescott's, and it's a thing. I remember throwing what was it, acorns? It was like little acorns under people's cars, in the parking lot, so you could hear it pop. That was a thing. That was
Oh
the mischief
gosh.
out there, and those rolling hills. But so that being said, that was my experience up till high school first year, and then second year of high school came back to Hartford, West Hartford now, to go to a Catholic high school, and that's where I graduated from. But college was always the thing. Like, you're supposed to go to college. Like, it wasn't even a
Mhm.
question. And I began to take it seriously, like actually aim for places and look things up online, after I started to study Japanese. Like, up to that point, I was just, kind of floating through space and doing what my parents said to do. I was a bright kid in my first 6 years, so I didn't even have to study in order to get like straight A's. But
Mm.
then, yeah, middle school hit, and it's just like, oh, wow, okay. Do I need to study? Nah, I'm just gonna play, games with my cousins and chill out. And,
Jeez.
I didn't really have
Play some
study
games.
habits because, I didn't need them. So it's a study in evolution, I think. Um, how do you survive up to that point? I didn't need to survive. I didn't need to study in order to survive, so I didn't study. And then once
Hmm.
I needed to study to survive, I didn't have the skills in place to do that. So, then I started to rebel, and then those hormones start kicking in, and you just kind of doing other things,
Hmm.
than what you really need to do. You're not taking responsibility yet. So I didn't take responsibility of my learning until that Japanese. All right. Like, that's where it started. And that's when you started studying Japanese in middle school, right?
Oh, no, no. Actually, I went to Anna E. Norris Elementary School in East Hartford, and for my
Blast.
first 4 years,
Go ahead.
blast from the past. Yeah. Um,
Mm,
it was kind of crazy because I did get picked on a lot in school.
mm,
So my mom was looking for a school to get me into.
mm.
And then,
Picked up for what?
I mean, any and everything. I mean, I didn't have the
Right.
best
Some sort of
clothes
reason.
or, the
No.
best shoes or anything like
Mm,
that. And this was before uniforms were in school. So it's like, oh yeah, you judge, oh, you got holes in your pants, what's going
mhm,
on? Like, oh,
mm,
your
mm,
name's
mm,
Denville, it kind of sounds like Dumbo, so that's what we're gonna call you type thing. It's like, come
mm,
on, man, come on. But
mm.
going forward, it was mom's endeavor to try to get me out of school and or get me out of that school. And she
And
got
gets
me
you into a
into East Hartford, East Hartford Glastonbury Magnet School.
magnet. Yeah, that's the
Heavy,
first time I heard of magnet
yeah,
schools when it was, yeah. Mm.
heavy on technology. And in
So
elementary
if you,
school, that's where I
if
learned.
I'm sorry, if you could
Go ahead.
just talk to that magnet school to define that for our audience, because I still don't know what a magnet school is, but I've been hearing things about like gifted for the gifted,
Oh, yeah,
recently, and mm,
it's it's different because magnet schools they it's not really for the gifted because even looking back at it, I was in kind of a remedial math class within the magnet school. And it's kind of
mm,
like they had two grades. And what they did is they kind of merged them together and then split them apart for these math lessons.
mm,
Um, and it wasn't, it didn't make me feel dumb. It didn't make me feel stupid or anything. It was just like more hands-on learning. So it's
mm,
like when we're doing fractions and we had something to like split into these pieces so that we can tangibly have that
right.
in our hands, you know,
Mm,
that tactile reinforcement. But I would say the big thing on magnet schools is heavy emphasis in technology. And
mm,
now when we look at things like Snapchat going public,
mhm,
this was just an app. Somebody sat down and created this app, thought it would be fun, went public with it, and now it's on a stock market exchange. So we
mhm,
have to think, looking back now, how many people actually got their start in magnet schools or schools that were heavy in um, technology or just had a bigger budget than others for
mhm.
technology. All of the computers in that school were Macintosh, something unheard of in a public school. So
Yeah.
from very early age, I was learning to do PowerPoints in fourth grade. I was
Mm,
um, being tasked with writing rudimentary code, within PowerPoint, like click this button and it takes you to this page. How are you going to work that out? And it's very big now. To our children are learning now, and my daughter, she
mhm,
knows how to work her tablet. She knows, oh,
mm.
I go to this for my Zoom class and I put in the password here. And I'm just like, oh no, it
Why do you know
started.
that already? Yeah. Yeah.
But
But that
yeah,
made you comfortable with technology, you know?
yeah, definitely made me comfortable with technology, and then also got introduced to the Japanese culture,
Mm.
fourth grade through sixth grade. And I'm talking everything
Mm.
from hiragana, katakana to shrimp chips, and we sang in
Mm.
Japanese and we greeted each other in Japanese, and it's like it was different,
Mm.
definitely.
But I mean, but that's where technology is advancing. Like everyone knows Japan has giant robots, I
Oh
mean, from the
yeah.
80s, 80s, 90s, like you grow up with like this image that Japan is technologically advanced. And, some of their software and applications of it, the robotics really is, their application of the internet is kind of far behind. So they
Oh
didn't,
yeah.
get ahead of everyone else in terms of like smartphones. But yeah, Japan is definitely, one of those centers when it comes to technology. And for you to, when you answered that question, you said that you were thinking MIT at that, seventh grade, eighth grade age range there. I can understand that. I mean, that's where everyone's pointing you in that direction. And
Yeah.
it was like, why not? For me, it was more so why not, because I was just starting to study Japanese and it was coming to me, and I was just like, okay, I can eat ramen and I can write a little hiragana and katakana and I'm learning a little kanji. Why can't I go straight? I was thinking go straight to Japan. because I can write the alphabet. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. The first colleges I looked up was on a list online. It just their names came up in English. I was just going through. It's like,
Temple
man,
University.
yeah. I mean, Temple was on the list, but there were so many schools, like Japanese schools, not American schools in Japan, Japanese
Mm,
schools. I thought I was just going to step in there.
wow.
And yeah, well, I was mistaken. But yeah, I mean, my parents saw that I was going somewhere with Japanese and I was taking some kind of responsibility there. And so in my 11th year, I don't want to say 11th year, maybe, no, during my 12th year, we, had the talk and it's just like, all right, going straight to Japanese school is impossible, but how about an American school that has a program in Japan?
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, fine. And I ended up picking from a short list of schools that were possible for me. My GPA was trash. My GPA was trash. In high school, my Japanese was great, but my high school didn't even offer Japanese. I was so focused on Japanese that they sent me to a middle school called St. Tim's
I
down
mean,
the street.
just to get a little background into
Mm,
your situation, like I know,
mm,
but not everybody here knows. How
yeah,
many languages did
mm,
you study between
mm.
kindergarten and high school?
Yeah, see, okay, that's a good question because I guess I took it for granted, but my father is from this island called Dominica. And in Dominica, they speak a language called Patois, which is broken French for them. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, so I was hearing him speak broken French and just kind of flaunting it, brandishing the fact that he could speak it, in front of me, talking to either, like my stepmother or talking to his family. They just switch. And if you can't keep up, that's too bad. But I was hearing that,
And
I was hearing that this French going on. And then, so I get into elementary school and French was an option from fifth grade. So I studied French from fifth, sixth, seventh grade, eighth grade, maybe eighth grade too. Yeah, for 4 years of French. And then also they had Latin from seventh grade. So
mhm.
study some Latin, seventh and eighth. Like, okay. Um, and when you study a foreign language at that time, it was common methodology to allow you or encourage you to use a foreign name. So my French name was Claude, because Jean-Claude
Claude.
Van Damme, and he was a fighter at the time. That was, all right. I don't have a name; it should be like Jean-Claude.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
then when I studied Latin, few people know this, but my Latin name was Fabricius.
Fabricio. Okay.
Fabricius, because of the
I'm just
fabric.
learning this.
Because of the fabric, right? Like I could see the
Oh
word in there,
no.
fabricius. And then and when I got to high school, the first 2 years of high school, I studied Spanish,
Okay.
and my Spanish name was Santiago. Santiago, yeah, Santiago,
Santiago.
yeah,
Okay.
and I can't remember why I picked that name.
Santiago is like James though.
That's why, because that was the
Ah,
name I was
James.
christened
Okay,
under.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you go. That makes too
yeah.
much sense now.
That's exactly what it was. So, yeah, like all of those languages happened before studying Japanese. And I guess, the French and the Spanish and the Latin, like they all just kind of blended together
Mhm.
at some point. It's just like, you know what? I want to study something different and just like have it be mine, where, I had studied the Spanish for 2 years. And it was actually during my 10th year of school that I just kind of stepped away from it. I think I turned like
Mm.
16, and it was a picture of me actually in class, and I had like this huge sombrero on, and I was just like, off to the side, just chilling like that, right? Had it on
Oh
me,
gosh.
and at that time, I was starting to study Japanese all by myself, and
Okay.
picking things up online, using the internet for the first time to actually study something. Um, And it was, yeah, that's when I started to think it was possible. All right, I'm just gonna go study abroad because I can write a little something, you know.
Okay. Right. So we've talked about
Mm,
school, right?
mm,
But what about this thing right here?
mm. The streets.
So
The school of the
Ta-Nehisi
street.
Coates,
Mm,
he goes into massive detail about not only um, Big Bill, his older brother,
mm,
getting to go away to college, and it was kind of a program in the summer so that kids of color or those
mm,
who might not have seen themselves in college can
mm,
actually get like that exposure and be comfortable at college already.
mm,
He also goes into some of the things that they did, like after school or between the times that they had school.
mm.
Things like stealing milk cartons, or not milk cartons, milk crates, and
Yeah.
making basketball hoops with them. So he also goes into the kind of like the unwritten, the intangible lessons that you learn. You're not going to get this in a book type
Mm.
stuff. So I just wanted to speak to that for a minute. Like what kind of stuff did you learn on the streets, like, or we can call it also after school life, you know?
Mm.
We can also call it
Yeah.
after school life.
He referred to it as the knowledge,
Mm,
and it's that unspoken rule, like how to dap and do it right. For me, I think I was sheltered quite a bit, from really becoming a member, like a solid member of a group of people outside my family. You know,
mm,
I think coming from a large family. I mean, my grandmother had 11 kids on my mom's side, and like I
11.
said last time, 16 on my dad's side. Like that's
Jeez.
yeah, it's a big family. So it's like you feel like you're already a member of a tribe, and you don't necessarily need to like get really close with outsiders. You know,
Mm,
so for me, that's what I had. I had my closest cousins. One year younger. A couple cousins a couple years older. And because I switched schools so much, I never really got close with people there. Just
mm,
maybe a few friends, one, two, but because it's a private school, everyone's so far away from each other. Nobody's watching your back. And nobody's getting on the same bus as you. You're going in completely different directions. So, um, I kind of felt that when I went to the private school out in West Simsbury. There's one other black person there,
oh
and
no.
yeah, one, you know, and at first I was the only one. And it just so happened that someone who went to the same elementary school as me, St. Augustine, uh, he came to the master's school out there in West Simsbury, and now there were two.
Oh, God.
And it's like, do you get along with this person really close, or are you, people are looking at y'all like, okay, are you just buddies, or are you enemies, or are y'all gonna fight, or
Oh gosh.
yeah, it just didn't. It didn't. It's not a really great environment to be really close to folks, um, or to figure out the whole like race thing, like because
Mm,
we're doing like proxy wars. We're seeing what adults do and then playing it out on the playground in some premature, immature, you know,
oh
uh,
yeah.
levels. So yeah, then I get really close with my buddy from elementary school, and then he moved away again. When I got to the high school out there were a few more black people, just a few, and everyone comes from different backgrounds. It's not like, okay, we're gonna meet up after this and we're gonna play video games at the house or something like that, or we have a birthday party, y'all invited. I mean, it's like they're too far away and they all on their own different frequencies. It,
Hmm.
you know, that being said, when I got to high school, I switched in my 10th grade. In 10th grade, I ended up going to West Hartford. And I could feel for the first time that there are groups of, like black people. There are groups of black people. And they went to school together all the way from elementary school.
Mm.
Wow, okay. And like they have like a history together. And some remembered me from elementary school. I don't know how we met. I don't know, maybe we just happened to be in the
That's
same
some craziness.
class or same year, different Catholic school. But oh yeah, I remember you from da 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 da. Oh, okay, I don't remember you. I've been out there in the mountains, man. And yes, so I guess what I learned about uh, the tribal thing in primary and secondary school is
Mm.
that blood is thicker than water. When I got to Lincoln and university, it's just like, okay, like I have a little bit of skills, I have a little bit of experience, background, and everybody's starting from zero, so I can kind of get close with a few folks.
Mm.
And at first, I was really close with people by proximity. Yeah, we had a special like building called, it's called Alumni House, and at Alumni, uh, I mean, we were just like special. We were in the cut. Security didn't mess with us. Yeah,
Oh
parties.
gosh.
You
Oh
know,
no.
yeah, we had our own like RA. She was cool. Like we had our own little world. And even if we were all studying different things, like this was our proximity. This was home. You come back to squad, and it was
Mm.
beautiful my freshman year. And then I went away. I went away to Japan because like that's what I wanted to do from high school. And when I came back, they accepted me back into squad, just like because we were together that first year. But I had grown on my own out in this world. And I had to find my tribe of people that were studying the same type of things and interested in the same type of things as I was, because that was the new kind of, group, and you start to specialize. It's not just a proximity war anymore. And yeah, we kind of had our own code, in Japanese club. And like, it was an unspoken rule there that we're going all in on this Japanese. It could
Mm.
be the food. Everybody. We would just jump in the Honda and go down and have sushi or ramen, or you couldn't get ramen at the time, so it was pho, that Vietnamese food.
Oh,
But,
oh,
man,
okay.
I could talk about that tribe right there because they lifted me up when I was in a dark time, when I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of these different tribes. But they said, yeah, you should be the leader. Oh yeah, boom. Like you the godfather of this thing. You went to Japan and came back. Like they
Oh
respected
dang.
me so much that I learned how to even respect myself and how to be a positive influence for them. And I really appreciate that.
We just got that
That
clout. Like, you have the most experience of us, so you're the leader now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh,
So I
okay,
mean,
guys. Well,
that's
first rule: I
it's
don't
crazy
speak English.
to think about because that's bad. That's
Mm.
bad. I mean, you've done that to me before, but
Well, it's from that. It's
it's
from
crazy to
that.
think of the things that
Mm. Go ahead. Mm,
those intangible things, like
mm,
just just the fact that if we just take Japanese, right? You have certain words that
mm,
non-native speakers say, and you just know, you're not a non-native, or that you're non-native. Like
mm.
if you're saying, watashi wa before everything, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And instead of ano nandaka, then you already know. Like you already know. But I mean,
Mm, mm,
it's kind of those intricacies in society and these little things that we pick up
mm,
and just like, okay, well, when I dap somebody up, pull them in close, bring it back out, hit them with the dap like that. Boom.
mm, mm, mm,
Here,
mm, mm.
here where I am, it's little Mexico. Everybody goes like this. I'm just like, what?
No
No,
smoke?
no, no, no. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Uh-huh.
It's just you. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's everybody's dap here. And I'm just like,
Wow.
yo. I don't know. One of our other cousins, he hates it. One of
Mm.
the ones that lives in San Diego, he
Yeah.
hates it. And every time I
This
see
little
him, I
thing.
make sure.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Devious with it too. I gotta
Yeah.
make sure. Yeah, some people are like this, and they go the open hand. I'm just like, where did
Mm.
that come from? Okay, well,
Yeah. Wait, you answer his dap with an open hand?
yeah. So like you
Mm.
hit the hands right, and then
Yeah.
one person comes with the fist, and then other
Yeah.
person just like
Wow. 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 Unspoken,
But
right? Unspoken.
yeah, it's
Nobody's
just
going to teach you how to do it.
unspoken rules. Yep, exactly. I mean, I had to
Mm.
learn that when I was working in the fields. Yeah, I did do that
That's the
for a
mean
while. It
streets.
was not. Oh, the mean streets, man. I have
Yeah.
so much respect for those people who work in the fields now, man. Because I was like, oh
Mm.
well, I need a job, so let me just go do this thing. So first day, dead serious. I closed my eyes and I could still see
Mm.
green. I was just like, this is this is not real. It
Wow.
was an experience to say the very least.
Mm.
So I mean, we've talked about our parents. I mean, are you good to go a little longer? We try to keep this to a half an hour, but I mean, there's some more stuff we can
Mm.
get into. Are you good?
I got 15 minutes.
15? All right, all right. I'll,
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it to 10, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, because it's when it finally gets out there, it's probably, I don't know.
I mean, it's
But
out there right now. We have one viewer right now.
there we go. Okay.
Yeah. So
Share
we're
the link.
engaging.
Share the link. I'll bring some more in.
Share the link. I'm not gonna be able to share it right now. I'll share it to you
Okay.
after we stop. That way we
Okay.
can circle it back around. Anybody who's actually wanting to watch the first podcast, I'm pretty sure I hit the link in the bottom. Also got Tipsy Japan's YouTube channel link down there too.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Okay,
I see
so
it.
we got my boy Water Pulse Laser.
Yeah, I see
Speaking
him
of people
in the
that you've
comments
known
section.
forever. Yeah, I've known this guy since kindergarten, man. We go way,
Wow.
way, 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 way back. And
Hold
he's
on.
the
Hold on.
viewer
Is
right
that
now. So shout outs to him.
is
Yeah,
that
that's
my
him. That's
friend
him.
Water Pulse
That's him.
Laser?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, yes. You
All
see,
right. That's what's up.
he already knows. I'm not gonna shout his government out on
That's the knowledge. No,
online,
that's the
but yeah,
knowledge. That's the knowledge.
that's the knowledge.
All right.
For real, for real.
Wow.
All right, so one of the things that Ta-Nehisi goes into is when his father comes get comes and gets him when he's watching TV, and he's just like, "Hey, Ta-Nehisi, cut the TV off. Let's go."
Hmm.
And Ta-Nehisi replies, "Can I have another hour?" And this is what his father does.
Mm.
The look of not playing. I just want to speak to that for just a little bit. Just
Mm.
you never really know what that is until you have kids, and then you
Mm.
develop that look, and it's just like that's it.
Mm.
But speaking even more so to that, I wanted to jump on this subject right here. Those random errand times with parents.
Mm.
Because sometimes they just like, hey, get your jacket on. We're going right now. And it's like, where are we going? You'll know when we get there. It's like, oh
Yeah.
wait.
Huh. Huh.
No,
Huh.
my pops is king of this, like for real. He was just like any and everything. Take me to the hardware store, take me to go get food, take me to the
Hmm.
mall, and we have like a cinnamon pretzel afterwards. Pops is really complex, doesn't talk that much because he's West Indian to the core. He's opened up a lot more since
Mm.
having grandchildren, but it's just kind of crazy. You know, like Scoop, let's go.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is it important for him to talk? Because some people would say, like one of one of the YouTubers I listened to, Elliot Hulse, he would say that it was really important in his relationship with his father for his father to just breathe, his breathing. And I was like, okay, breathing? Like, listen to my dad breathe? Seriously? But like when he was in
Some
trouble,
stalker type stuff.
when he was in trouble, parents would send him to the basement or something like that. And his pops would come down there, and that's where the pops like had his workout gear. And pops was just pumping, and Elliot Host grows up to be a professional bodybuilder, strongman. So just hearing at night, when his pops comes down there and, all he hears is father breathing, that is something, I remember now, saying that when my father would, he would just breathe too, like like before going to bed.
Hope so.
Before, no, hold on. So I ain't even let you clown us. Before going to bed, we would get down there like on our knees and pray by the bedside. All right.
Yeah.
That was just what you do. And then his family, 16 brothers and sisters, that's what they did growing up. And if you didn't, then you was getting a whooping, and then you're gonna do it anyway. So, but breathing, like you could hear this guy breathing, like his nostrils, is like as he's praying, and then you wait for your turn, while you're praying, you hear his, that's it. And you go to church, and this he sings the hymns and everything. But when, they're doing a sermon and you sitting down, Catholic church, and he's got his eyes rolled back and you hear him breathing. And that's just, you're just in obedience at that point. You're doing the task. You're not expecting, I don't know if you're expecting like some kind of huge breakthrough, like some of these, churches up on their feet and they're, doing their dance or whatever. No, you're breathing and you're doing what God says to do. Like, that's it. And for a young man, just being in your father's presence and hearing his breath, maybe that's enough. I don't know. I don't have these kids yet, but I am 36 years old, and I remember 30 years ago my father breathing. So maybe it meant something.
I mean, to speak to that, and I was hoping that you would get to a point where I could say this. I don't know how you say it in Hebrew. I've long forgotten it, but it's a saying that says, "May your face be covered in the dust of your rabbi." It's like, what does that mean?
Face be covered.
May your face be covered in the dust of your rabbi. And that's speaking to the fact that you should be, first off, behind your rabbi.
Behind him.
Because he's your leader. You are the student, he is the teacher. But you should be working so hard that his dust clings to your face. You should be working so closely to him that his dust clings to your face. And that's just like, it's so serious, because going back, like, I live in an apartment, I'm not to the house stage yet. Hopefully I get there before I die. But my father, he knows a little bit of everything. And I never kind of held on to it. I took it for granted so much growing up. And this is a man who, my aunt told me that one day he had to work when he was still living with her, way before I was born. Had to do some work to the car, took out the whole engine block, fixed the engine block, put the engine block back in, took a shower, went to work in that car that he just repaired. And I'm just like, what?
The same day.
So, I mean, plumbing, automotive. Yeah, like the same day. Just like, oh yeah, this is nothing. Plumbing, automotive, cooking. My dad throws down in the kitchen. When he came here, he just came here to visit, and he went off, and nobody had to ask him to go off. And I was just like, yes, Lord. So it's like, I did pick up some things from him, and I'm still learning some things from him. But don't take for granted those moments that you have with your parents. You
Mm,
know, just kind of soak that in. You know, even if it's just
mm.
their breathing or if it's just a trip to the hardware store, try to take in everything that you can because,
No.
you know, this may not be formal education, but it
Mm.
is still education.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm not. I'm even gonna let you go and get away with that one because, um, this is TPC Japan. I got to bring some of that Japanese knowledge with me.
Oh, go ahead, hit it.
Aka o senjite nomu. Okay, tsume no aka. Like if you got, I have no dirt in my nails at this time because I'm keeping them very clean. But you should have dirt in your nails, and that
Okay.
person that you respect, all right, like that dirt that's built up in their fingernails, you want to take that, put it in some tea and
And
drink it.
drink it. I heard
Yeah,
nomu and I
aka.
was like, oh.
Yeah, tsume no aka o senjite nomu. That's the Japanese proverb for you.
Uh,
All right.
that's a little scary.
But I mean, what is the dust? We got the dust all over your face,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
got
yeah. I
the,
mean,
it's the same
it's the same
idea.
connotation. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
definitely, definitely. And we have to revel in these things, you know, relish the
mm,
moment that you have that you can learn, you
mm-hmm.
know, and that's something that a lot of people take for granted. It's like we have the ability to learn.
Yeah.
You know, we can change and
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, you know what, next time I'm gonna do it like this, or next time I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it like that, because last time it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that's
I
that's that's a powerful point there.
all right, so I think we're gonna end it there for tonight. We
Mm,
are a little bit over time, and I know that you got to get running. I got to get to bed. You know,
yeah.
we're doing this through time and space. You know, it's tomorrow for him, and it's today for me,
Mm,
and you know, we're able to do it. I'm definitely so happy that we're reading this book. Again, that's A Beautiful Struggle by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
mm-hmm.
I do have it linked down in the description below. I'm
There you
pretty
go.
sure I did link it. I tried to link it. So at the very least, you're going to be able to see A Beautiful Struggle. And hopefully you can just look it up that way. It's on Scribed. That's how we're watching it. Or listening to it, I should say.
Listen to
We're listening
audio.
to it on Scribed as an audiobook. And we're coming back to discuss it. So if you guys want to look at the original podcast, I think that that's linked below. It is on Facebook. This is the second in the series,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you guys want to join us for number 3. You know, read up a little bit, have some comments. That way we can engage with you. You got
Yeah.
anything before we roll out?
No, he wrapped it up very well. It's your boy TPC Japan. Telling you that des what it is. That's the first Japanese word you need to learn. Des, because that's what it is. No, this is beautiful. There's I'm waiting for next time. I'll save it for next time. There's a lot of things that need to be discussed, and we will be back
Oh yeah,
very soon. If not, no, next week, same time and
next
same
week.
place,
All
same
right.
time,
Well, let's hit it.
same place. All right, let's go.
Let's hit it. All right. Until next time, stay prayed up and be blessed.
Namaste.